What's up, ARC fam? And we welcome you to the ARC Community Podcast, your go-to spot for inspiration and impact. I'm Jin, and I'm coming to you from the heart of ARC Bacolod, where we're all making a difference. By the community, for the community. To our first-time listeners, welcome. ARC is a nonprofit based right here in Bacolod City, and we're dedicated to community support powered by community involvement. Whether it's our ARC Help Drive for humanitarian aid, ARC Growth Avenue with enriching seminars, the ARC Clinic offering healthcare and mental health counseling, or ARC Academy with after-school tutorials, we've got your needs covered. Interested in joining us? We're always looking for volunteers and partners to help us make our community better. Welcome again to another episode of our community podcast. And today, we'll dive in more about mental health and psychological wellness. And it is a very special episode because we have a very special guest, none other than Dr. Donna Lastima. And she is our CEO and founder of Heartticulate Psychological Center. And at the same time, she is an international facilitator and also who has a deep expertise on group mental support, team building, and so much more. Take it all the way back to the roots, right? So, Doc Dodd, can you tell us what is the center is all about? Take us back to where it all started. What was the reason behind and how did it all begin?
First, before I answer your question, Jean, I'd like to say thank you for having me in this podcast. It's my honor to be here. Medyo nakulbaan ko jutay, but I'm so excited. And going back to your question, where did we all start? Actually, remember during the COVID-19 pandemic, when we were so afraid, when we feel so vulnerable, we feel anxious and the like, we've decided to come up with the center to accommodate these feelings, these emotions of people. During those times, we were volunteers. No? Yung mga upod ko sa Heartticulate Psychological Center, we were volunteer counselors in Western Visayas Psychosocial Support for COVID-19. So when the lockdown happens, amiya, continue sa amon nga, we do counseling online with the clients. And when the lockdown was omitted, we were allowed to go out. We decided to, the need for a safe space was still there. And we felt as mental health professionals, we felt it is our moral responsibility, maybe no, and social responsibility to come up with, a plan or maybe a safe space for everyone. So that's where all started. It happened normal conversation lang na why don't we create a center, no? Since there was a need, why don't we create a safe space for people to talk about their feelings, emotions, and there, no, we created Heartticulate Psychological Center. It was a response during the time of the pandemic when people feel so vulnerable and uncertain. So we want to offer that special space for them.
Yep.
So it continued up to now.
Nice. Kag isa pa bala, Doc, I'm very curious. How did you come up with the name Heartticulate? Because very catchy ang name, very catchy. So what was the origin behind the name Heartticulate Psychological Center?
Mhm. By the word hearticulate, and if you want to put emphasis on that, it's more on articulate, no, articulating your heart. So we would want to people or our clients now would feel that they can be able to express themselves because some people cannot do that or are not comfortable doing that. So when you articulate your feelings, emotions, and when you are in the right space, safe space for you to express it, then you could be able to have clarity of thoughts. And by having that, you can be able to decide for yourself and choose the best option for yourself. So, hearticulate is articulating your heart, But at the same time, we are also reminded by the words of Saint Benedict when he mentioned that we should listen with the ear of our heart, because our heart now is when we listen, rather most of us, we would listen by our ears, but we would like to believe when you are a compassionate counselor or psychologist or a mental professional, you would really listen not only with the ears but with your heart. Like you can connect to the heart of your client or a person that you're helping.
Yeah, I've been hearing a couple of resounding phrases coming from you, Doc. Safe space, right? Helping other people. Why do you think it's very important right now, in our generation, talking about mental wellness? Well, is there something specific that move you, or a personal experience that move you to have this, passion to help other people?
Jean, actually, before I focus on the center, I was with the academe. I was a professor. I was also a guidance counselor, a psychometrician, and during my time in the academe, I'm also a community worker. So I've been talking to different people, talk to students, faculty, and stuff, and the like. And I think there is one ultimate connection among and between us. I think it's humanity, the humanness in us, which I believe it's one way of we connect because of that common experiences. What common experiences, common emotions? We feel pain, we experience joy, we experience sorrow, we feel grief, no? And all of us as human being, I think we all experience that. So, in my way of helping to the community, I would like to connect more on those emotions, and I'd like to believe there is something that I can do to help by by counseling or psychotherapy, um, connecting in a way that it will help them find the best version of themselves every day.
Was it a common stigma, Doc? Do you agree that is it a common stigma where, people, they're scared to, when we talk about mental health, mental wellness, is there a common stigma why people would be scared and afraid to go to, to ask mental health counseling?
I'd like to answer your question with a question. How about you? When you will be asked not to go to the psychotherapist or psychologist, would you go?
Um, an initial response siguro, Doc, yeah. Just because siguro the stigma would be maybe they would perceive me someone,
Something's wrong.
something's wrong, or maybe buang or
Correct.
whatever, eh? But I think that's one thing that scares people.
That's
So
correct.
I'm curious to know, is it was there a study behind, or a reason behind, why people are scared to do
Mm.
so?
First, I'd like to commend you with your response. You said yes. In research, Generation Z is considered to be the loneliest generation. And when we talk about mental health, they are the generation, or this generation are more likely to avail of the services. So by your response, maybe I could assume you're coming from Gen Z? Or
Medyo dalapo lang ako,
lapo lang na, yeah.
pero consider gyapon Gen Z siguro,
You feel
viewer.
like
I feel like siguro ang lawas ng guro, Dok, ang daw hindi na kaya makigsabay sa Gen Z ba?
ayun. Parehas kita, no? Feeling Gen
Feeling
Z, pero
Gen Z at heart.
But anyways, now going back to your question, no, why is there any reason, no, when it comes to stigma? I think stigma comes from intergenerational saying, we have clients nga, by my experience, I've encountered clients from different generations. And I could also understand why nga jutay lang ang nakakadto sa amon for psychotherapy or counseling from the generation, let's say boomers, or let's say Gen X, no? Most likely, based on our statistics, no, we have clients. More of our clients are coming from Gen Z. But when it comes to stigma, I think stigma is also universal. Yan. Mm, may mga gina-attach gidya na description to someone who is seeking for help. The fact na you seek help, no, it conveys something, it could mean weakness.
Mhm.
No, but I'd like to, this is something that we want to, kung saan na pabla daw gina-challenge namon based on, by the way of our advocacy, that um, you really need to fight the stigma in seeking help. And it is okay to seek help. It is okay not to be okay. And it is okay to seek help because help is here. When you don't seek help, paano ka mabuligan?
Mm.
If you would think of stigma first before your own welfare, then what will happen to you at the end of the day? The problem remains. It will go on a cyclical, macycle lang siya. And eventually, hindi siya ma-resolve. And before you knew it, ay nadalma, nakatani, nakapangayo pa ko bulig,
Wow.
right?
I love the response, Doc. And you mentioned you've been in the academe, right? For
Yes.
how long? So you were guidance counselor before, Doc. Correct me if I'm wrong, or
Yes, yeah. Before ko na guidance counselor, I became a local media journalist. So my exposure is more on the community. I gather news. It was with the Visayan Daily Star. Then I joined the academe as a psychometrician in one of the private universities in Bacolod for 6 years. Then after that, I transferred to a state university, that's TUP Visayas, close to my heart. I was a guidance counselor and a professor from the university.
Mm.
So that was 10 years. So
Wow.
more or less 16 years.
16 years.
Yes, in the academe.
Because it sparks an interest sa akon, Doc, because most of the people that I know who are psychologists, right, they usually go to universities and schools and they become guidance counselors. But I'm interested to know what made you choose a different path. I mean, right now, by the way, listeners and viewers, we are in the actual psychological center ni Doc Donna. So later we'll give you a quick view how it looks like. But going back to my question, Doc, you know, what made you choose this path? Like having your own psychological center and yeah, tell me more about it.
Listening to that question, though medyo nagaka-excite ko mag-answer at the same time medyo reminiscing. Yeah, reminiscing the path. It all started with a dream, no? It sounds do ka-cliche, no? It all started with a dream, but yeah, it all started with a dream, no? When I graduated BS Psychology, I don't know, asked every psychologist or BS Psychology graduate, they would want to have majority would want to have a center. And that's my dream. But during those times, wala pa kami board exam. During my time, wala board exam for psychology, wala man board exam for guidance counselor. And that dream was put on hold. How many years? Pila ka years. Nag-graduate ko 2004. I became a psychologist 2020.
Wow.
It was a really long journey, no, towards realization of that dream. But you see, guess what? No, I believe that I was prepared, no, the academe, my experience in the academe, my experience in the community, and my experience with teaching helped me prepared myself, no, in becoming I won't say I'm not a seasoned psychologist, but I think I would like to describe myself as a compassionate psychologist because most of my advocacy is focusing more on self-compassion, no? Like reminding yourself to take care of yourself before helping others, you help yourself first. So basically, with that journey, I've come to realize na this is the path that I want. In the academe, I'd like, I was so happy
Mm-mm.
with TUP Visayas. I was with the best team.
Yeah.
With Doc Anna, with Sir Eric, and the rest of my friends. 10 years. 10 years. And it was not an easy decision to make.
Oh.
And when you are in the academe, like for example, in my case, State University, you would really believe that this is it. This is the career that I want. Very stable and the like. But you see, this one is really comes from my heart. I'd like to share this to you and also to viewers. I'd like to believe that my time in the academe, I won't say it's finished, but it's more of natapos na akong purpose dito.
Mm.
So I realized that I think the community needs more.
Wow.
I think the community needs one psychologist, not only one, but more psychologists to take care of their mental health. Because in the school, yeah, I respect our students. I've listened to them. I've helped damo ng mga students, hindi ko makount sa hands ko. But in the community, it feels different. When you are talking with people in the grassroots, when you hear mothers crying, trying to, hindi nako kabaludok. This is the first time that someone is here listening to me about these things na abi ko, hindi nako pagpamatian sang iban. It's really, I think it's a noble, it's a noble cause. It makes me feel really, finding my purpose.
Right.
To be in the community.
Because imagine, Doc, you've been there for 10 years. I'm sure, at one point you could even say to yourself that, I think I'm okay na, but then there's this hunger, there's this longing
Yeah.
to leave a legacy, to help other people.
Ang gapanin diba?
Oo,
Ang layo.
totally yan.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I think the duration of your stay sa TUP molded you. It was just a perfect time for you to set up the center with all those experiences, with all those learnings that you pondered upon. I think that was just a perfect time for you to set up. And but I mean, considering with all of these experiences that you have, it's a very lengthy experience to put up, for you to be ready to put up the center. But I'm still sure, Doc, there were challenges that you've encountered in the early phase of you building up the center. To share to the viewers, what was it like in the early stage, the baby stage sa inyong center?
During that time, actually, yung pinaka-challenge, one, I could still remember, that the space, the counseling room, medyo cute siya, nga duga face-to-face. Like, kung magambal, ang storya, tabi, do ka, like,
Lapita lang.
namo ko, dasan daw ka ba tiya? Ano tong storya sa perno? Hindi, joke lang. Wala mo sina. But, yeah, physical space is a challenge. Structure-wise is a challenge. But, I don't know. Also, I'd like to emphasize din na, di ba, when we started the center, mga mental health professionals kami, actually, 3 kami. It's just that may mga lain nga mga, career path, career ladder, career. So eventually, one of my colleagues, nga nag-found gid sang center, decided to keep sang iya work sa academe. And the other one, she went with her husband who worked in the US. Actually, she's also a guidance counselor in the US, but she's still part of the board, of the company. And yan, ako lang nabilin. Tapos we were dreaming together that
All of a sudden,
anong gusto sang Ginoo sa akon. Things like that. Like, paano ko ni padayunon. So, since nga ba, kung ganin it all started with a dream, kag kung ginapatian mo ganang imong dream, di ba la?
manifest mo gudyo, Doc.
Hindi mo siya paguntatan. Or maski maguntat ka, ibalik ka sa Japon sa imo. Feeling that kind of feeling when someone found us. When I say someone found us, we have a partner actually nga, hindi siya psychologist, but the heart
Okay.
is just like psychologist, Ang iya gusto niya, legacy for the people. And in this person, ako personally, I found light. Hindi man siya psychologist, pero ang iyang cause, kagi advocacy to help the community is innate. So sa nakita kami, doon na magnify lang, I want to put up a center and you're looking for someone to partner with you, then let's partner together. I'll help you. Then you do your task. Then maybe at that point, I realized, it's all in God's plan. Hindi siya hapos magpatindog sang center nga ikaw lang isa. Kag kung wala ka bala wala ka nagpati sang gintanom dra siguro sa imo sang Ginoo sa heart mo. So it's more of my personal challenge, personal challenges like questioning yourself, is this worth it? Psychologists that dadamangkot ka, is this worth it? Kaya ko pa ba, no? But, I'm just so grateful din that God provided people. Doc Ana is one of my very best support gid. And those people who believed in this advocacy, who would really ask me, di ba gusto mo ni? Amo ni hando mo? Din ka gusto makadto? Kaya amo ning hando mo. Then with that, bala nga mga support, I get to, makapander upon. Kaya, this is my dream and God led me here. So, nga asa mo pa kumuntat,
Mm.
'di ba? So, then I continue and you see, grabe ang it's so amazing when you decided to let go and let God. So, it's so amazing. Ma-amaze ka sa number of people who would come to the center, who would say, you know, when you did not give me the schedule, I was thinking of, this is the end of it.
Mm.
This is real story. And goosebumps kami kambal, oh my God. That 1 hour of his life or her life, that was the saving.
Oh, grabe.
Saving one, it saved that person. So kami mismo kambal, okay, so maybe this is what the center is all about. It's not about Doc Donna. It's not about, hindi niya sa isa, pero it's a center created by, by God.
Yep.
For people to come and maybe to feel that there is safe space.
Right. Grabe no, ang balaga niya sa Bible, Doc. He makes everything beautiful in His
time, right?
I love that verse because I think, for those 10 years of you, for 16 years,
Right.
God is building you up for something
I-
more noble, right? And I'm sure there are countless times that you were moved and let you decide you have to push this because I think this matters not only to you but
Oh, I
to
feel
other
like
people
crying.
as well. So I applaud those people, and and sometimes though, I think skills sometimes are not enough. Sometimes, you know, it takes heart. It takes heart. Like those people that believe in you, that help you throughout the journey. I think that made a spark in your heart to continue pushing, right? The people, I was just amazed because I think, yeah, kami lang yung pro niya, Doc, for this type of emotions. Kamu magaling, no? When you were starting, you had this feeling as well, like, is, I'm very far, but do I still have to continue? Mga mo na lang yan.
Yes.
Wow. But
The crossroads.
right, those are they call it they had this theory as well, Doc. They call it the dip. Like, when you're doing something repetitively, when you reach that middle path, it seems like, the passion is gone, the direction is gone, and you start doubting yourself, asking more questions. Am I still in the right path? But you know what, Doc, I think this is destined for you. And not only for you, but also the people here in the community here in Bacolod City. We're blessed to have this, no. Um, I'm curious to know, Doc, were there instances as well where, you know, this people have you how do you approach those people, like they feel sa ila kagalingon that they don't need mental health guidance or psychological support? How do you approach those type of situations?
That's also it's also a challenge, no, on our part. The basic premise is counseling is always voluntary.
Mm-mm.
If the person is not yet ready, then he or she will not come to you for help. But if the person seemingly ready, like gina-push lang bala, sige kadto lang to anay, then have one session, then after that you decide, no. I think draya may mabulig kami. But if the person is not, very reluctant pa yati, hindi kami na iya kapilit.
No forcing.
No forcing.
Okay.
But if the person is ready and hindi pa siya at first syempre rapport should be built pa eh. So there are people nga pagpungko dira hindi man na right away masturyada sa kung ano, no. That's why it takes also skill for psychologist or counselor, therapist, no, to build rapport, to let the person feel nga hindi you can trust me, just start talking, something like that. But when the person or when the client starts talking or starts to open up, half of the battle is won.
Mm-mm.
No, because at that point in time, the person is willing to makahambal na siya. So, ikaw man nga psychologist, pagtanda ka, chance na ni, makabulig na ko na sa iya.
Grabe, no?
Then, nag-start na siya hambal. That's so amazing. Grabe. Isa na sa makita namon, privilege kami nga makita.
Grabe, no? I love, may people, dapat po psychologist, Doc, you should have people skills. You should be sensitive, no? Grabe.
Yes. I think it's more of a combination of skills na hindi mo siya ma-learn overnight. So that's why, kung ikaw, be example, if you are, if you would want to become a counselor or psychologist, hindi ka magsayang, hindi ka mabasayang, maninga, wala mo ko ni sa field sa psychology, why pa ko, just wait for your time. Learn as much as you can. Learn skills to communicate, learn to express your feelings and emotions. Then whenever you'll have your own time, then makabulig ka.
Got it. Wow. So that's a very good advice for those people who are looking to, take this path, right? But Doc, help me recall, how many years are you in operations already?
Right now, Heartticulate Psychological Centers is baby pa siya, 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
3 years pa lang in operation.
I can't imagine how many souls have been, lives have been blessed or been helped by the center. So within the span of 3 years, Doc, what are your established services already that you offer to the community?
So basic services, no, we offer counseling and psychotherapy. We do individual counseling. We also do couple counseling and family counseling. For the testing, we also conduct psychological tests, assessment to, let's say, job employment or pre-employment. We also conduct tests for legal purposes, such as, for example, violence against women or adoption, no, things like that. And we also conduct psychosocial support activities, like, for example, mental health talk, understanding generations, team building, and other basta need by the company when it comes to mental health and psychosocial support. And ang proud, di ko ba proud? This one, no, we've conducted this service to one of our clients na company, and they're also amazed, no, with the impact of that activity to their employees. Now we call that group process. We call that catharsis. Catharsis is you vent out your emotion. But in the process of catharsis is a structured learning exercise wherein the employee, they are grouped by department and they are given a safe space to talk about a certain topic, of course, in relation to, let's say, interpersonal skills, so on and so forth. And they have a chance, to talk about it with their colleagues. So eventually, when they go back to their department, medyo wala na to sila masyado istoryahan when it comes to, sunggod ko sa imo, and ito online. Kaya na, kag na process na.
I love it, Doc, because it's not only enclosed to individual entities, but also you go beyond that. You go beyond couple, family, and more importantly, corporate setups as well, right? When, companies are in need of team building or, maybe there's a strife between, sa ilang company, then you come into the picture.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. Also, Doc, 3 years, I just can't imagine how many transformed lives have you helped. So, could you recall some of those remarkable success stories that you're willing to share, of course, anonymously, to the viewers, to the listeners?
Damo no? Kadamo na naglabay sa amo sa center. But I'd like to especially, made mention or recall one client na she's so heartbroken that the session started with, relationship issues, and she could not, kung saan pa bala kabudlay, accept ang amo ning situation, no? Pero eventually, because of the session with us for several sessions, she was able to find herself and be able to, do na restructure or na enable herself na, anong term na, gather together, become the most beautiful woman. And lo and behold, she was able to meet her love of a lifetime, and they got married, and they're happily married, no? And when I recall that story, when she mentioned to me in the first few stages ang amon nga session nga masaya ay abi ko, hindi ko na ma-gather liwat ang self ko, abi ko amo na lang ko ni like to the extent hindi siya magbangon sa bed to go out, no, and we've tried everything, really, really everything, no, pero ang key to, what's the best thing about that client because she was also at that time she was leaning to God. No, with all those experiences and the psychotherapy, she's also helping herself. Eventually, she found the love of her life and they're happily married. So try to imagine that. Abi mo wala na, wasak na ang puso mo.
Grabe, no?
Tapos, may ara pili.
Mga muna, Dok, like, how long was that in the making?
Oh, that client that I've mentioned, medyo lawig-lawig kami, no? I tried, no, eclectic. When I say eclectic method, is combination of person-centered and CBT. No, we do a lot of CBTs, cognitive behavior therapy, assignments, take home, no, and a lot of follow-up. So medyo malawig kami to siguro um, mga pila kami kasi 12 sessions.
12 sessions. It takes, Dok, it takes intentionality and at the same time patience coming from you. I mean, exhausting everything that you can. Because maybe have you ever experienced, Doc, or maybe have you known somebody like, they've given up to someone because it looks like ah we've tried everything but it's not working out. Was there instance like that in the siguro in that type of field na you've given up on something?
Like sa akong personal experience, there's the points, no, in the past nga nagambal mo ko nga maybe I'm not the therapist for this person. Kag it's okay. It is really, really okay. Even your client will tell you na maybe you're not the therapist for me and it's entirely okay. You see, di ba nag-start ko sa premise na counseling is voluntary. So in case nga hindi siya sa imo kay because of the certain biases, transference and counter transference can happen. Transference is when the client feel nga ang iya counselor or therapist ado parehas gini kay nanay maghambal do ang nanay kung akon issue, di ba padayon pa ko ni istorya sa iya. So, dapat ikaw man nga therapist, you should be very ano gani man, ang clear ka man,
Okay.
kag sensitive kay sa needs ng client mo. So if the client says, okay, hindi na ako sa imo, maybe I need to find another therapist, then it's okay. And maybe sa imo man, how can I say nga ang therapist or ang counselor, maybe would say, ala, hindi ka guro para sa akon. Tao lang man kami mo, may mga biases man, may mga, kung saan pa may mga experiences kamanda nga, hindi ko comfortable talking about this specific subject. For example, no, example, premarital sex. So if hindi yan na iya bala parts, hindi man parts ang values, but base hindi siya comfortable talking about it, so maybe pwede gid ma-refer sa iba naman nga mga therapist. That's why nami nga damo ta counselors or psychotherapists kay para kung anong bias mo, then you can be able to pass the client to other counselors kag base dito yung mas mabuligan siya, 'di ba?
That is a nice realization, that there will be instances that you're not the best fit for each other.
Very true, very true.
Wow. Well, that's very ano good, realistic to say. There will be instances that this is not meant for us. Maybe you have to look for somebody. And those are realizations coming from the experience that you have for the past years. But seeing yourself, Doc, right now, like 3 years, right, and years ahead, what is like your future vision for Heartticulate Psychological Center? And yeah, what's the idea? What's the vision in the future? Or maybe aside from answering that, what's holding you back from doing it?
First, I envision Heartticulate Psychological Center to become a premier center that caters to mental health and psychosocial well-being of Filipinos. I also would like that the community will remember Heartticulate Psychological Center as a safe space that offers quality and professional evidence-based, no, and psychologist that offers professional support and help. And lastly, I also envision or I wish that the center will be a center not only to those who can afford, but it's also a center to those who are more likely needing help but less no maka-afford. So how I wish may mga private institutions na maghatag support no sa center, then that will do the counseling, then you just bank us up because it's very important din na may we need also something to fuel us.
Yep.
So very important. But you see in the context of Philippine setting, medyo hindi pa tanan maka-afford
Mm-mm.
to avail of the services.
And I think that's something interesting, Doc, because I believe that you are trying your very best as well to reach out to the communities, to the marginalized, to the poor, to the needy. How are you making this happen, Doc?
Actually, very interesting. No, there is a foundation who also supports our advocacy. So what is happening is they're supporting the services, they're paying for the services, but we're conducting it for free. So like for example, right now we are doing activities for Gawad Kalinga youth. Na so Gawad Kalinga is a non-government organization also no that focuses on youth development and women as well. So we are going to, like recently, no, like last 2 weeks, no, we were in different communities in Bacolod City. We conduct empowerment talk for women, for the youth. Then just like recently, we conducted psychological assessment to this a selected no group of young people in the community who would want to explore their career. So, nagkanda kami sa ila series of tests for them to be able to know themselves, their strengths, weaknesses, and at the same time, basi maka-guide sa ila no, in choosing the career that they want in the future. So, that's one. Also, we are also partnering, like the Chameleon, di ba? Chameleon Philippines and the Holy Family Foundation. We're also giving sa Holy Family, we're giving counseling for free, no, because I think these special group of girls or individuals, they really need mental health support.
Nice. I love the fact, Doc, that you are having a vast age demographics. You're not focus on one particular
Yes.
generation, but that's good, you know. So it's a nice discussion, Doc. And just before we wrap this up, I'd like you to invite everybody. How could they get involved in this noble cause, or maybe they know somebody who needs to be heard, needs to be seen, right? How can they connect with Heartticulate Psychological Center?
Right. So you can actually find us to our Facebook page, Heartticulate Psychological Center. We also have our Instagram. I have to read it because I cannot memorize. So we can follow us at our Instagram, Hearticulate Psychological Center, our TikTok, Hearticulate Psych Center, and we have also a website, Hearticulate mystrikingly.com, and you can call or connect to us to our number 0963 89815 or 445, that's that telephone number, 445-1248. And yes, no, you can visit us here at Puer Santos Building in Barangay 33 in front of EMB building. So here in Libertad, lapit kami sa Libertad. So please come and see us. You know, you have a safe space here. Aside from Art Bacolod, no, we also offer safe space for you.
I guarantee you, viewers, when you come here in the office, in their center, it's not like you are choked because you feel that you'll be tested out with everything. But when I first come in, Doc, wow, I was like, I'm so relaxed. So you will enjoy coming here. But thank you so much, Doc Don. How I wish you have more time. I hope we could get another episode from you because there's a lot of things we could unpack. But Doc, just to wrap this up, I just want to give the opportunity to you. What are your final and parting words to our viewers who felt they are alone, they are not seen, they're not recognized, or maybe they're having, this doubt sa ila? What is like a self-care tip to them?
Mhm. Sige, so like, to any one of you who are listening or watching this, I'd like to remind you first that you are loved and help is here. When things go wrong, especially things that you really wanted to happen, but it's not yet happening, just be patient with yourself, no? Take time to smell the flower. Don't be so hard on yourself. And remember, God gives us what we want in the perfect time. So don't rush everything. Be mindful with your words. No, people that you are encountering may have a bad day, and the words that you are telling to them, no, may sound or resonate like flowers in them. Just choose your words and be sensitive. No, be mindful. And when it comes to mental health, you see, there is no health without mental health. So it's very important to really take care of the self because we cannot give when we are not capable to give, right? So we cannot pour out from an empty cup. So you need to fill in your cup first. So go back to your physical, exercise, run, go to the gym, go out under the sun, play. Also, you need to check into your emotions, no? Check muna, happy pa ba? Hindi na ba kaya, no? Do you need help? Emotions, no? That's part of us. Another thing, I think it's best that you look into your spiritual life. I think that's also very important because of everything that you cannot, you're trying to make sense of everything. You want answer to everything, but you cannot find one. You see, God has the answer for everything. So it's very important to nurture your spiritual life. It's also for me personally, it's more of my power. No, it's a superpower that you'll be amazed, no, when you have God in your life. Basically, you can do anything because you are not alone in your journey. No, remember that. So I'd like to remind everyone, if you are having a bad day, don't worry. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. So thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. And I really, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc, Don. And again, you're not alone. You always have someone that you could depend on. So that is a must-see episode. Arc Fam, thank you so much again, Doc Don, and also for the Heartticulate Psychological Center. There's so many things that we've unpacked, the victories, the losses throughout the journey, which was really an eye-opener for us. So stay tuned for our more episodes here at our community podcast, where everything is done by the community for
For
the
that
community.
community.